jumped up by my pistols, and I shot him with both barrels. Yeah, my shadow rain, da-ma-do-da-ma-da. Whack for my daddy, oh. Whack for my daddy, oh. There's whiskey in the jarrow.
Hey guys, welcome back to Dave's Garage here with Project 70. I know some of you have been looking for an update, and here we go. I'm gonna give you guys an update. So it's been a heck of a time on the back of this car, not gonna lie. You know, this passenger side quarter panel went together pretty easily. I've got the trunk corner screwed into there, and I was really happy with the way that this was fitting over here. The driver's side, not too much. Boy, this was giving me major headaches. I could not get this quarter panel on here correctly. The car was actually a little lopsided. So I made some adjustments to the door frames and then still couldn't get the quarter panel on. And so there's a couple things I learned here. The first thing I learned is that this door frame was not put together correctly. And you can see this sail panel section here. This was actually too long. So because it was too long, it was interfering with this tab here where the rear window brace, which is this piece here, where this mounts across. And so this was not allowing the quarter panel to go far enough forward. And I figured this out actually just by taking a ton of measurements and checking it with the passenger side. And what I found is that this passenger side, so this cutout here, it was about a ½ an inch smaller than what was on the driver's side. So I cut this, you know, I tried to cut it right down the middle as best I could, shortened this up, re-welded it, so now it's the correct length. And sure enough, that solved the issue with getting the quarter panel far enough forward on the car. I've had a ton of issues up on the roof section here where the roof meets the door frame structure and the quarter panel You can see here that the frame is still sticking out a little bit, but that's just going to get grinded down, because another thing I found is that the so this window ledge, if you'll call it, on the driver's side was half of an inch longer than it was on the passenger side. So that's why there's this material that's sticking out, that I could not get this material, I couldn't get this shifted properly to get the roof perfectly aligned with this piece, because you can see where I marked it in yellow. It's because this flange is too long. So that was pretty maddening. And then once I discovered that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. All this shuffling around I'd been doing with the door frames was pretty much for nothing, because if I would have just measured this flange on the driver's side and compared it to the passenger side, I would have seen, oh, well, there's a bunch of extra material here. So no big deal. I finally got this stuff all fit together here pretty nice, and then I'll just have to hit that with a grinder. And so tonight I finally got this passenger quarter panel sitting on here, what I would say very, very close to being where it needs to be. And you can see back here, I just have it clamped sitting up here. So if you put a level directly across the back of this car, I use a piece of steel that I just run across and then set a level on top of it. It is perfectly level directly across. So I'm on the money on the back here, so the car should be nice and straight and level. Now, what I had to do to achieve this, because I could not get the quarter panel to fit over the door post properly, and I had tried bending or straightening out this flange here just to see what was going on. And one thing I discovered was that this door frame was all jacked up. So you can see I had to cut it, and right now it's just being held together with a clamp. And I'm going to have to make a bracket to reattach this to the door post. But basically, I had to cut that to allow this door frame section here to go back and then up a little bit. And then that's finally what got the quarter panel to sit in here and sit the way it's supposed to on the door post. So one thing, if you're out there considering one of these Fastback conversion kits, and I've learned this already, is that you might have to drill out spot welds. You might have to cut things on this kit to get things to fit properly. But the way that it sits right now, I'm really happy with it. So the roof is level, the back of the car is level, everything's lining up pretty nicely. And so, you know, this is basically the final fit prior to welding. And I'm going to try and weld as much of this car as I can without taking it apart. So, because I want to make sure that I'm able to get it back together the way it's sitting right now. So even if I could just go in and just do some tack welds to just hold things into place, and then you know, I can take some panels off and then weld everything properly, and then hopefully everything will go back the way that I have it test fit right now. But it's just test fit with these self-tapping sheet metal screws, which is nice because it allows me to see you know, what the car is going to look like prior to welding. So you want to make sure that you get this stuff fit properly before you do any welding. I haven't done any work up here on the front roof section just yet. You know, it doesn't seem to be fitting or lining up too bad. The roof braces are loose. That's why it looks like it's not fitting here, but you can actually just push this roof brace right back up in there. I left that loose because I want it to sort of fit to the roof as opposed to forcing the roof to fit onto the roof brace, because I don't want to, you know, have the roof lopsided or put a dent in it. But these roof braces, there's a lot of adjustability in these, and that's one thing that I've also learned. Originally, I had screws holding these together, and things weren't fitting very well. But once I took the screws out, and then this piece is you can now adjust this a little bit. So this allows you to move the door frames in or out as necessary to get the proper fit with the roof panel, which is great. And then all I have to do is just come back in and then, you know, weld this roof brace into the position that it needs to be to get the sheet metal to fit properly. So I do have a fender on the car. Yes, that is bolted on there, and it's going to be staying on there until we get the doors on and all that stuff. I'm thinking that the fenders are going to be relatively easy because there's a lot of adjustment that you actually have in these for sliding the fender out, in, or forward and backwards a little bit. So, but just trying to get everything assembled with the sheet metal screws, and then get the doors on here, and then see where we're at. I had someone ask me, why am I fitting the quarter panels and all that stuff without the wheel wells? Well, one thing that I had experienced was by putting the wheel wells in there first, they were sort of dictating how the quarter panel was going to sit on the car. And I thought that was kind of silly because I felt like I was fighting the hell out of these wheel wells, and they weren't even perfectly straight. So some of them were, like a couple of them were bent, and I had to bend them back. And it just didn't make sense to me that I was trying to fit the body panels on the car, fit the quarter panels based on a wheel well. So I kind of reworked my logic on it, and I thought, well, let me fit the quarter panel to the door frame to the roof and get all that good, and then, you know, put the wheel wells in. And if I need to cut some out of the wheel well, like, that's, to me, that's not a big deal. But if you can't get the quarter panel to fit right because the wheel well is jacked up, that's not going to do you any good. And also, too, with the trunk floor, this is not, the trunk floor is still just pinned together. I did that intentionally in case I needed to make slight adjustments to the trunk floor. Now, I tried to get the trunk floors to line up with this hole here that goes down through a hole through the frame rail. And so that's basically what they're aligned on. But if I needed to move this 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch just to get the proper fit with the quarter panels and whatnot, so that's why this isn't welded in, and I have these Cleco fasteners in here so I still have adjustability in this trunk floor. So once I get the rest of this thing mocked up, I have the rear window brace has to go in, and then I have to put the trunk corner in on the driver's side, and then we'll fit the tail light panel in here. And then I'll see how the trunk floor is. If that needs to be adjusted, I can do that at that point. And then I'll start working on the wheel wells. And I do have a mini tub kit for the car that I'm going to install at some point. I just don't want to start cutting frame rails and stuff when I don't even have the body assembled yet. And I'm kind of up in the air. I thought for sure I wanted to put a mini tub kit on it. Now, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. I don't want to go with ridiculously fat tires on the back of this thing. I kind of like to have just a little bit of a staggered stance like some of the newer Mustangs do. And I'm not sure that I need to do a full tub kit on the back here to achieve that. So anyway, I'm still up in the air on that. That's totally not a priority at this point here. But yeah, so that's where we're at right now. And I'm going to call it quits out here for the night. I was happy that I was able to get this driver's side quarter panel sitting on here pretty nice. And I'll catch you guys back here hopefully in a few days, maybe a week or so, and give you another progress update. Thanks for checking in.